Hundreds of protesters flooded Manhattan's Union Square to participate in the demonstration against the multinational chemical and agricultural biotechnology corporation Monsanto. Demonstrators voiced the facts against the horrifying effects of the genetically modified food that has been proven harmful to people's health.
Getting the bill out of that one committee is just one step in a lengthy process, that could take a long time to win. We need to take the immense energy here today and focus it on winning concrete policies that will protect our health and environment. We need to take the growing awareness of GMO foods and direct it on our legislators in Albany.
My job is to keep the tempoing, but I'm so blown away by that letter.
War against Monsanto is the effort to save ourselves, our own health, our own children. We have to boycott Monsanto, period. We have to see where their pesticides are going. We have to educate people about where the farming, the grocery stores, the consumer items. We have to bring resources to the people that have been poisoned, like the veterans from the Vietnam War, suffering from Agent Orange, and their children and their grandchildren. So we have a monster company here.
Insidiously, Monsanto has publicly declared that it is the FDA's job to determine the safety of its toxic substances. In a statement given to the New York Times, a Monsanto exec declared they should not have to vouchsafe the safety of biotech food, and their sole interest is in selling as much of it as possible. Assuring its safety is the FDA's job.
There's much corruption in government, and we have this corporation called Monsanto controlling our food supply by contaminating it, creating genetically modified organisms, which they have, it's now in nature, it's irreversible.
Due to trying to rush the manufacturing process, dioxin became an industrial byproduct in Agent Orange. Dioxin is second only to radioactive waste in its ability to destroy. Many people are familiar with the devastation left in Vietnam from Agent Orange, from the scorched earth to the horrifying pictures of children with unspeakable birth defects. What most people are not aware of is that there are millions of United States veterans that were exposed to Agent Orange who ultimately returned home from the war with a death sentence. The U.S. government and chemical companies hid as veterans voiced concerns over their ailing health after the war. That same death sentence was then passed on to possibly hundreds of thousands of American children that were conceived when their parents came home from war and started families. A generational serial killer, Agent Orange stores itself in the fatty tissue of the primary person exposed, and then is thought to mutate the DNA of the conceived child, causing many of the same birth defects, diseases, illnesses, and ultimately deaths, as are seen in generations of the Vietnamese.
The Agent Orange thing that I spoke about before, half of the chemical compound of that is in Roundup. So we're still getting poisoned with the same Agent Orange chemicals. We just want people to talk to each other and to look into it and not just walk around and go to like Stop and Shop and just buy something, in a box. You have to read it. Even if it's not labeled, you can still see what the ingredients are. If corn is the main ingredient, 95% is GMO. Soybeans, we just want people to actually pay attention, buy organic if they can afford it. And
what if they can't afford organic? It's easy to tell somebody don't buy it. Things aren't labeled. People don't know. They're not allowing labels. What can we do to help people, to give information to people to buy organic food when it's expensive? What is one to do?
Well, there are certain foods that are more likely to be GMO and others that are not. So you don't have to do 100% organic. The other thing they can do is buy from local farmers. Talk to the farmers at the farmers markets and ask them, are you organic? Are you not organic?
How do they know if they're organic or not? Where do they get their seeds from?
They would have to know that they're GMO certified free.
Monsanto is also the creator of dozens of other deadly and toxic products, such as aspartame in diet soda, bovine growth hormone in the meat that you eat if you eat meat from factory farms, dioxin, DDT, Roundup, PCBs, more, all of which are being tied to extreme human and animal health problems, birth defects, and deformity. Further unsettling is the realization that Pfizer owns Monsanto. Yep. Regardless of whether or not you believe such conflicts of interest exist or influence policy, it's important to note that Big Agra and Big Pharma have some ties to each other you might not be aware of.
Well, there is seeds that are not genetically modified, which those are the organic seeds. But it's right now, it's a huge contamination. There's no, if you look at the USPTO office, one of the things that it said there is there should not be patenting on any species, and now you have Monsanto patenting seeds. So it's kind of hypocritical, and I think if we don't do something about it now, we won't have a future in food.
What's going on with the bees, not just in the United States, but all over the globe, is that Monsanto has been genetically modifying food crops with pesticides, which are collapsing the bee colonies. And the bee colonies, they hold the substance for life on Earth because everything is connected. So the bees are collapsing, and now Monsanto, the corporation, is paying hard for grad students to come up with a robotic bee to replace the bee, because they are fully aware that they are destroying the bee population, and the entire, it's like a genocide on the bees, which will collapse the entire ecosystem. And I find it a little disheartening that we live in a world where capital and economy is more important than our ecology and the ecosystem. And I feel like Mother Earth, she does it better than anybody else. So we don't need a robotic bee. We just need to get rid of genetically modified crops.
They think that they're doing something good, but no, it's completely horrible.
Who taught you about what's going on today?
My mom, and also I saw it in a science textbook.
I recommend for parents to read the labels, watch the documentaries, don't be afraid, there's nothing scary, it's all the truth out there, and eat healthy, organic stuff.
Taking on Monsanto to allow consumers the right to know what's in this food.
You know, the easy answer is just go organic and avoid red meat as much as you can. That's not so easy for some people. Do what you can. Everybody just needs to do what they can. It's for your own health. Sometimes it costs a little bit more, and sometimes you have to go a little bit further, amen, to get to that next place, to get that good food for your kids, but it's worth it.
Where can people log on, or where can they go on to see what kind of foods they should be eating to be healthy?
They can go to, I think it's ewg.org. It's Earth and Water Watch or something like that. They have the list of the 15 worst foods, the 12 good ones, and you can go on there. They can go to our website, which is marchagainstmonsanto.nyc.org. We try to post information as often as we can.
52 nations took part in the universal demonstration against the international corporation that controls the world's food supply.